All right, let's pause for just a second. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to create a short video here to introduce where we're going. All right. So we've been talking about a lot of stuff in this module. We've talked about a single factor model. We've derived it. We've talked about the capital asset pricing model, which is the most common single factor model. We've derived it. We've talked about arbitrage pricing theory. We've talked about the concept of arbitraging away individual inefficiencies. We've talked about diversifying such that we can get rid of all idiosyncratic risk in our portfolio. And we've talked about isolating a model that accounts for all systematic risk. All right. Let me try to bring it all together here in a short video to explain what we're attempting to do. All right. So let's say you have two assets. They can be portfolios, they can be individual stocks, whatever. And let's say that we have a model that we believe, how about this? We have the returns for the stock, these stocks, and we have a measure of systematic risk that we think perfectly describes the world as we know it. Okay? The beta of both asset 1 and asset 2 is the exposure that asset 1 and asset 2 have to this level of systematic risk. Okay? So what we're trying to do is we're trying to develop a model where we're going to try to control for the exposure of our individual assets or our portfolios to the systematic risk. We're going to try to control for that, hold it constant. And then what we're going to do is we're going to look for stocks with high alpha to buy and stocks with low alpha to sell. Does that make sense? Look at these two assets. Both of them have the same betas. You see how those lines are parallel. Both have the same betas. The slope of these two lines is the same. That means that asset 1 and asset 2, whether they're individual stocks or whether they're portfolios, asset 1 and asset 2 have the exact same exposure to the systematic risk that we've identified and we claim is perfect. A perfect identification of systematic risk in the world. Which stock would you prefer? Alpha 1 or Alpha 2? Okay, hopefully you said Alpha 1. Why? Because at this level of systematic risk, Alpha 2 only pays off this much. But at this level of systematic risk, Alpha or the asset 1 pays off this much. Okay, do you understand? So what we're trying to do is we're just trying to develop a model. We're trying to develop a model that we can isolate systematic risk, hold it constant, and identify the stocks that have positive alpha. And when we see stocks with positive alpha, we buy them up. And we keep buying until the alpha is arbitraged away. When we see stocks with negative alpha, we short them. And we continue to short them until we see the alpha be arbitraged away. Okay? So don't lose sight of what we're doing. We're doing a whole bunch of math. We're talking about a whole bunch of theory. But in practice, what we're trying to do is identify a model that accounts for all systematic risk. And we're going to try to find stocks with positive alpha to buy and find stocks with negative alpha to sell.